how do you handle the big data? How do you manage that more effectively? For that, the storage cost has to go down, processing cost have to go down, and all the operators' back office system vendors need to be able to provide platforms which can handle these data volume much more effectively, cost effectively, and obviously be able to provide the analyst the insight to be able to make decisions based on those data. If you're talking about the deluge of data, there's a lot of information stored in the data. How can you harness that big data properly? How can you take out the relevant information, do that cost effectively? And the biggest of that, how do you have that feedback loop approach and bring the decision into your back office systems? This is the whole orchestration loop we are talking about. It's not easy, it's hard, it's difficult, but it needs to happen.
It means now we've got to take all of this data, we've got to do something with it. And that's a challenge in and of itself, but more importantly, we have to put it into a context that makes sense around what the customer has experienced and what they still need to experience. We need to give them some flexibility here, and having pricing plans that are completely based on how much I've consumed versus how much I need to still work with is, you know, it's just tough because we don't understand it. You know, if I download a video or if you download a video, how many gigabytes or megabytes is that? Well, it depends on the type of video, right? And the same thing applies if we can't figure it out as an industry. How can the customer figure it out? We got to make things simple. If you're going to make things simple, that means hiding complexity. Hiding complexity means pretty sophisticated operations behind the scenes to make it look simple from the customer's perspective.
A couple of approaches for dealing with this. One is sort of the block and throttle approach, or sort of the more stick approach, really limiting subscribers' access to how they're using the network and limiting videos' access to the network. The other approach, which I think most operators are adopting, is more of a carrot approach, really incentivizing smarter use of the network, better monetizing that video traffic, figuring out a way to charge for it in a way that consumers will accept. And I think that's really the way the operators are going to have to go to really mitigate the impact of video on their networks.
As far as the data explosion, there's two things going on. One is you're seeing upgrades in the infrastructure. So this move towards LTE, we've seen a lot going on in the aggregation network as they move towards an all IP infrastructure. The core has already been upgraded. The other aspect is trying to look at subscribers and where demands are coming from. So if you look at access points in a mobile network, you'll have some areas of the network where you don't have adequate coverage or capacity. You can handle some of that with technology upgrades, but what we're seeing operators do is try and match subscribers and where that demand's coming from with their profile. So are they a high value subscriber? And then be more focused on where they actually upgrade parts of their network, access networks, to support those demands.